Don't forget to catch our series in the cinemas in July
Titled
titled
The
Bungsu
Bungsu
Story.
Hi, welcome to Unfiltered, where we share with you our journey to making the first episode of the Bungsu Story. This project was in collaboration with the Filterworks Productions for the Creative Corby and 2017 movie season. We bring to you behind the scenes as well as interviews from the people that made the project possible. If you haven't already, here's the teaser for the first episode.
Thanks for coming in. Special announcement today, you guys have a new student. What an award, huh? First Brunei to ever get it.
Adi. My name's Adi.
You know, this torture genius act is getting old real fast.
What? No way.
Alright, it's recording. We have 45 minutes to this. Phone's on silent.
Phone's on silent, vibrates off.
Yeah.
You can use your vibrator later.
Vibrating panties.
Is there such a thing?
What time do we want to finish? 3 o'clock?
3:30.
3:30.
3 o'clock.
Perfect. Phones away as far as possible. Don't wanna get interrupted by the. Okay. Imagine you're the host,
I have to
so
sit
do
like
whatever
this.
you want.
Because this is my good side.
Do we have like a... Okay, I'll just look at your laptop and see.
It's not working.
Oh,
It's
okay.
3:45. 2:45.
Okay.
Producers.
everybody.
Producers. Interview podcast.
Alright, we ready?
Oh, wait.
Okay. Sisiran kami natin.
We ready? Okay. Alright, so, okay, are we looking at the camera?
Everything.
I want to look at...
Okay, but welcome is there, just in
Yeah.
case. Okay. Welcome to Unfiltered. Today we are speaking to the producers.
No.
We are speaking as producers.
We are the producers.
We
We're
are
speaking
the
to ourselves.
And we'll basically be talking about our personal experience over the past couple of weeks filming this pilot project.
Months, actually.
Months?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Months.
started
2 months
since
plus 3 months.
February.
True.
Yeah, essentially.
4 months.
4 months.
Alright, so before anything, let's do some introductions. Let's start with...
Legenda.
Oh,
So with Legenda.
thank you.
I'm Akil from Filterworks, and I'm 21 years old.
When you started. I'm Aliaji Roslan, acting as the producer, one of the producers, who doesn't do much. And from representing Creative Corby and Balloon Films.
And I am Charlotte from the Creative Core, BN, also one of the producers for this pilot project.
AKA doing everything.
AKA not really knowing what to do, just
But
following
doing
instructions and hoping I'm doing the right thing.
If the producers aren't really doing anything,
What are we doing?
Alright, so let's start. Maybe we can talk about how we all got involved in this project. Starting with...
It was one stormy night.
I have to recall. Was that time? Was it
No,
Last
National
year's-
Youth Day.
National Youth Day? Yeah, it was National Youth Day. We had this. We used the same table to showcase videos.
That was the first time I met you.
Yeah, that's the first time I met you. But I've met. You guys invited Did you guys invite us?
Mm-mm.
For?
No, there was UBD. UBD was the one who invited us for the
Film festival.
the film festival.
Mm.
Yeah, because Fax was part of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we also gave a talk last time. But anyway,
You did. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, anyway.
so we met during the National Youth Day, and I was just talking like, you guys did help organize this, blah blah blah. Like, let's do something. Let's work together. Your next movie season, because I was asking if you guys were gonna do another film festival. Yeah, but you didn't like them. So let's try and figure something out. So when we met, that was early Feb or January.
This year?
Yeah.
January, I think. Oh, actually, it was last year. National Youth Day was last year, no?
Yeah, no. When we met again.
Oh, yeah, about
yeah.
January.
You contacted me and
January, February.
of us making, and we sat down, like thinking of making a short film initially
Or some project.
or some project, but I had this plot that was on the shelves for so long to be used as a web series. Like, why not use this as a real series? And that's when we started planning things, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, and on top of that as well was our plan with the short film festival is actually twice a year.
Twice a year?
No.
Once every 2 years.
2 years.
That's
hey. So, meaning to say that it's not necessarily called one particular short film festival or film festival, but as long as I'm involved and I'm the one organizing it, that's gonna be every 2 years.
Mm.
So this last year was one, and then this year's the gap year, and then next year is gonna be one more. So yeah, we were at we didn't quite know what to do in the beginning with our movie season. So luckily enough, we met with FilterWorks, Akil specifically, with the pitch, with the idea in mind. So that helped us along, and here we are.
Yeah, I think also like with the movie season for the creative core, we initially didn't plan to have a movie season at all. It was only after meeting Amali at our first event, Dancers Meet, and then UBD TV. That's when we thought, oh, okay, let's just give it a go. Because I know nothing about movies or filmmaking or videography.
Fun fact: she didn't know that people make film to make money. Okay.
I mean, okay, another subject. but I had known very, very little knowledge. I just enjoyed watching movies. That's all. But of course, I wanted to know.
She thinks movies come in for free.
Yeah. No. But I wanted to know what filmmaking was all about and what goes on behind the scenes, as that's sort of the gist of most of our projects anyway. And so yeah, I sort of just rode along and followed closely behind Amali, learning whatever I could. So yeah, I think generally this whole experience has been an eye-opening one. I am constantly learning, not too sure what I'm doing yet, but yeah, just learning. But we'll go into that later on, I guess.
So that was the beginning.
That was the beginning, yeah. And that was February, right?
Yeah, that was February.
And so we got into things, or got started quite quickly. Yeah. We sort of just went straight for it. But yeah, this is all your idea, or at least the series and the idea behind.
Essentially, you're the main pilot guy.
Well, like I mentioned, the plot itself was based on a web series that was gonna branch a lot more than just your regular linear series. But for the project itself, I thought it would be good to reuse it again.
What was your plan with it?
The original plan?
Original, and then just a bit of original, and then after we've met and talked together.
Oh yeah, the original plan would be like from boy meets girl for the first time, and the end game is boy ends up with the girl. But with mine, it would be we reverse back, and let's say episode 2, what if the boy never met the girl? so he meets on somebody else? Or what if it's not the guy and the girl doesn't really go up together, and now it's with his friend. So it's all these branching of stories. So episode 1 to 10, but there's a episode 2A, B, C, D. Yeah, so there's so many possibilities. It was either feedback based, comment based, or just whatever we want to do based. But then when I met you guys, the plot, we've shrunk it down to the basic aspect again, and that's to have new people have a look at it and see what we could make from there as a whole series all over again.
That's a really cool idea. Are there any existing stories like that or series like that?
I remember another YouTube
Goblin.
video.
That was the main inspiration, Goblin.
Oh no, that wasn't the main inspiration. No, I remember. I think I forgot if it was either Genie Boy or what's the other one that's quite famous as well. They made something really based on the
A Malaysian production?
Malaysian or Singapore, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. They made an episode, and then they ended it, and then they get to show two different endings. Two different continuations to an episode, and then like vote which one do you want more.
Cool.
So it's more an
Or-
interactive thing, lah.
Yeah, or was it a comment on what do you want to see in the next one?
Yeah.
And then the most votes that get it, they'll shoot it in that week for the next week's episode.
What
Yeah.
about for TV? Is there an existing series that
And I don't-
follows that?
Actually, there's a couple like Veronica Mars
Yeah.
and all that. So they
It's a series.
it's the series, yeah, Veronica Mars. So the public gets to vote what happens next, like in the same series. So they've actually shot a couple of scenes of the alternatives. So then people text in which one, and then the TV channels, I guess, deviates into that linear alternative series, yeah.
Ooh.
But that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is plenty of work, because the production value to make different
Yeah.
endings or different continuations is at least twice as much work as it would be.
It's actually like R.L. Stein's Make Your Own Ending.
Yeah, like Goosebumps.
Yeah. Goosebumps, yeah.
I love those.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
I used to read them by myself in the library. I
Or
enjoyed it.
in
But yeah.
class, right under the desk,
Yeah, when the teacher is
teaching.
Not
So,
Oh.
initial thoughts when you were in that first conversation. Were there any expectations?
We wanted to do 2 series.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was just said like we should do 2
It's got
series.
2 short films.
Like 2 series.
2 series.
Yeah, 2 series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
One drama.
So we get to see the thought process of both production teams,
Yeah.
and like how they grew through it, from the script to the shooting to the ending.
Yeah. 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 So that was a really good idea in the beginning, but we realized that it wasn't
really
executable.
feasible. Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing as well that after so let's start with after we've met, and then we develop the idea. At this point in the beginning, I'm more of a middle person kind of thing. So yeah, I think you felt the same way as well. So when he came to the office and discussed about his ideas and everything, I'm more thinking about how is that gonna work, not so much of the story.
Yeah.
Because I feel that from this as well, and from previous experience, taking myself away from the creative process helps me do things better at other stuff, i.e. producing, getting things done as well. More of a support staff is what I feel I've been doing throughout this project as well. So he would be coming up with all these ideas and everything, and then I'll be injecting some ideas of how feasible that ideas is. Don't know if you remember this as well. I don't know if I can remember it properly, but it's along that line. So I was just like letting you coming up with this idea, sort of like a brain fart kind of thing. and then I'll be discussing it as well with Charlotte as well in the office, and thinking of it overnight. And then we had our first meeting with the potential collaborators. Collaborators meaning all the different companies, individuals
Yeah,
that are involved in videography.
I was at TK.
TK,
Sungai Tilang.
Sungai Tilang, yeah.
Mm.
So seeing the number of bodies that kind of made our decision easy to just go with one series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Initial thoughts of it is it was gonna be a daunting challenge as it is, daunting task, because for me a short film is easier to produce.
Mm.
A short film is easier to produce because I've done it for a couple of times and I know the process. But yeah, a series is a lot different thing because there's a lot of elements that has to be involved to make it really for it to be sellable. It can be could be believable. But what about you? What do you think of initial thoughts?
So because I didn't know much about what would go into producing a series or even a short film, I was like, okay, cool, we have a project for movie season, great.
Yeah. So that's check.
Yeah, that was like my worry initially. Like that was my priority, to get something going for movie season. And yeah, I didn't understand much. So my thought process then was like, okay, I will just follow along, sit in meetings, see where I can fit in. And then after that, after meeting everyone, seeing what the project was going to be about, I tried to find something familiar, tried to connect it with what the creative core does as well, which is going behind the scenes and exposing that side of the art form. And so that's where this whole unfiltered behind the scenes thing came about, as well as talking to Mali saying, why don't we capture the footage from behind the scenes and then do little interviews with all the cast and crew, and
Which we are doing right now.
yeah, and put that up online leading up to the screening, which is the same format as our dancers meet as well. We filmed their creative process in creating and choreographing that dance piece, and then we invited everyone to come and see the final result. So essentially the structure is the same, it's just the content that's different. So I was just holding on to that and going, okay, this is what I understand, so I'm going to try my best to adapt. So that I think that's what it is lah. I was just adapting and
You did well.
adapting.
Can we just pause for a bit just to make sure we are recording?
Shouldn't be red.
Yes.
Woo.
There's a red light here,
Okay, good.
so you can see the red light there.
Yeah.
I like my lighting in my face.
Second artificial lighting. Phantom of the Opera. Okay, so I remember mentioning to you the different roles that's involved in the production and how it's similar to events.
Yes.
So did you see that happening as we progressed along?
I don't know if it's because of the lack of manpower, but I felt like there were points where one person was almost doing 3 to 4 things when we could have delegated it better. Yeah, but I also feel because this is the first time we've ever done this with so many people involved.
And it's their first time as well.
Yeah, I think generally, from my point of view anyway, the outsider, seemed like everyone worked well together. Everyone was very willing to listen to ideas, and they weren't shy to input their own ideas as well, which was great to see. It wasn't just like one person in charge and everyone, just does what the person says, which is good.
Yeah, just good. You never want just everyone saying yes to.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, we just want to say like,
But we don't also want everyone to give their
Right,
idea and
right.
wanting their idea to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There-
also
there-
a problem.
yeah, there should be
The executive.
a reasonable compromise for everything. Yeah, and that's when the executive decision should be taken place.
So, talking about roles and everything, generally, what is a producer's role in a production? Just generally speaking.
to produce. Err. Well, my take on it is producer usually does everything that's non-creative.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh well, there's creative producer and then there's producer.
But like going back to if we're just talking about the producer itself, yeah, we're talking about people who do the non-creatives, people who do either the paperwork, the contacting, things that we can make it happen for the director, for the scene, for the set, for the actors. So when they can think about how I'm gonna act, how I'm gonna shoot this, how this place will look like, we're gonna be like, I'm gonna give you everything as long as it's reasonable for either the budget or the time.
For the story.
Yeah, for the story to happen.
Mm.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a compromise, but it's not something that the creative should think heavily on as opposed to what the producer should be.
That's true.
We also think of the schedules, especially, and something along the lines of project management, where like this from here to here is the only slot we have. From this time to this time is the only time we have to shoot at that place. So you won't say that's that's a creative process.
Mm.
It's more like I'm gonna make this thing happen for you guys to do.
Yeah.
But I have to. You have to be quite. The producer have to make sure that it's quite strict in between those times as well.
Right.
Some days we managed to pull it off. Most days we didn't for this project, but it's a learning curve for everybody. So
Mm.
that's my take on what a producer is like.
Mine is more textbook. Yeah, because essentially, amongst all the crews and everything, I think only a couple of us have somewhat a formal filmmaking, producing education and experience as well. So mine's more of a textbook answer, I guess. Pretty much what he said. No, but yeah. So yeah, it's
Here's your textbook.
it is true. Like what producers do is making sure things happen for the directors and for the production, essentially. Things like you mentioned, like the schedule and everything, that's important. So coming back to the experience that we did, what the producers and associate producers did was communicating with everyone. I think that's the main job of producers. That includes communicating within the crew, the cast, within the production itself, as well as externally, especially with venues, sponsors, caterings as well. That needed communication all along. And for me, in this production, in the planning, in the pre-planning, or the actual contacting people and everything, I wasn't heavily involved in that. But mine's more of a, like I said, a support crew. So wherever people need more help, especially during production, during production, that's when I'm like, yeah, I know what to do. But for other than that, it was quite new as well. But actually, yeah. Actually, yeah. As a producer, I think if you have any event management training or experiences, it helps a lot because it's essentially it's the same thing, doing the same thing, calling people, making sure things get done on time, pushing people to get this or that or get connected with these people as well. So yeah, the communicator in a production, pre, during, and post is what a producer's job is.
Things I've never actually done before.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Is this your first time producing a series?
A series, yes. Even making a series itself, yes. Behind the camera, that is. And as a producer at this scale, absolutely. This like in a Bruneian context, this is still a big scale as well.
Yeah, it's the same for me as well. I mean, we've done shoots where I call I call a restaurant like, can we shoot here, and I call a few people, but that's pretty much it. I wouldn't say that's producing when we're making skits. It's more like just somebody to have to contact.
Yeah, but essentially that is what a producer's job is.
Yeah, that
right?
essentially it is.
But you didn't see it because it's such a small
Yeah.
thing. Essentially, you're doing everything, so you don't feel like you're a producer. I feel that way as well. With it's just sometimes it's just a fancy name to put
Right.
What your role is,
Yeah.
but
Like CEO, CFO.
Yeah, exactly.
COO.
yeah, it's like essentially they're just like the executive person, the financial person.
Right.
Yeah, the ones who make decisions.
But I guess it's also important to know as well who is who and who's doing what.
Yeah.
I think that benefits the whole team as well. So you don't feel like, should I do it
Yes.
because that person's not doing it? Should I do it
Yeah.
because it's
Should,
my
should
job?
we should we level up our
yeah,
balance out
yeah.
our job?
And then that's when it gets really complicated and you get so not productive. What's that word? Unproductive?
Not efficient.
Not efficient.
Not
Inefficient.
Inefficient.
Yeah.
Inefficient.
Inefficient as
unproductive.
well because you then start waiting for people to do
Yeah.
the task instead of just sitting it out there.
Yeah.
Do you think that within the crew everyone knew their role and everyone fulfilled their roles?
Fulfill maybe.
Yeah, from a general standpoint, we already had like a lot of roles in, like people. There were people who were supposed to be there. Yeah, but when it all comes down to it, during the actual production phase, there were a lot of missing gaps
Yeah.
for to fill the role, and I think it's not everyone's fault to blame.
Not
Like,
at all.
Yeah, nobody was born to fill the role of the runner, for example.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a runner in a film production.
Yeah.
team.
Minimal pay.
Yeah. All I do is just carry stuff around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes so that small roles, like people who are holding the lights, people who are this isn't people who are activating any lights, just like be there, just make sure that it looks good for the shot. People who are on the boom.
Away from the set as well.
Yeah, people who are just making sure other casts are ready and
Ready,
Right.
happy.
yeah, ready and
Well
happy.
fed.
Yeah, well fed.
Mm.
So these are people who are not involved. I think that's usually the problem that comes with filling roles in between. So we feel like the lighting guy, the sound guy, so okay when the
The actual day.
wait yeah
One
and
or
when you
2
have
days before.
people who actually fill the role, because the companies we contact are videography, cinematography people
Yeah.
who does weddings, so they're used to having a camera and like, you're gonna be the sound guy. Oh, okay.
It's uncomfortable for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time, like that's the problem as well. Firstly, okay, let's talk about that. Firstly, we chose people who already know what's going on.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you've done filming, you know how to move the lights, how to interact with the other people as well, the lingo as well. So that was our initial idea because
Right.
we didn't want to waste time in teaching people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, after we've actually started shooting and everything, started production, I've realized that these people also have their job and have their companies to run as well, projects that are paid at the same time. So it was kind of shame for us because we couldn't get their expertise on board, but at the same time we did have a couple of people who are inexperienced as well, who were actually easy to teach. So
Do you think that the lack of commitment, which is not, I'm not blaming anyone because they all
for
have
the lack
their
of a better
roles.
term,
Yeah,
Yeah.
lack of commitment connected
Well, like
to the
that
budget.
phrase.
lack
Sorry?
of commitment.
Connected to
The
the
lack of
budget.
better
that we had.
phrase.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, could you repeat the
For lack of better term.
term?
The lack of commitment among the team. Do you think that's connected with the budget at all, or was it just
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll
Absolutely.
especially somewhere like here, money is well anywhere in the world as
Anywhere.
well. Yeah, money is always everything.
When it comes to creative
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Like an artist wouldn't get paid. Wouldn't you wouldn't give a free painting from a
Yeah.
well-renowned.
Yeah.
with that as an analogy as well, like to
Yeah.
paint on a canvas, you need your brush, you need your oil, you need your canvas, and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
and that's cheap compared to the idea that this guy has.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can we maybe list down a couple of things that what's the budget for? Because a lot of people that I speak to,
Yeah,
they
true.
have no idea why you need money. Maybe
Yeah.
that's where it came from.
Can.
Came from. But yeah, they have no idea where the money goes, what it's needed for, why even do you need a budget when you're just shooting. So
What came from what? What are you talking about?
my perspective of movies and
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Like, okay, we say dancers, you just need your shoes and your clothing, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't pay
So-
for the studio time, right?
or your ideas
Yeah,
and
exactly.
training.
So,
But yeah, what are things that you would need to pay for?
Like, if people say it's no budget, then we're starting with the most basic thing you need to shoot
Camera.
a camera.
How is that not a budget?
Yeah, how's that no budget?
Even if you borrow it from someone,
Yeah.
it's someone else's cost.
Mhm.
What that's if you don't own a camera, you have to borrow or buy. Okay,
Yeah.
even if you own a camera, what are you using with your camera, which expends its life? Like
Right.
if you buy a phone 5 years ago, how's the performance of the phone going to be now? It's chipping out away performance every time you use it. So if you use a camera, it's the same thing. But that's just on a one perspective, one point of view. Then you spread it all out and have these lightings, these sounds, and who's going to make part of it? Who's going to sacrifice their time to be in the shot itself? The actors, the extras, and who's behind the camera, who's making that shot look very pretty, the crew. Yeah, all this is just like based on one scene. Yeah, and that's how many people already you need to make to make the scene look. I don't know.
Immaculate.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Superb.
As we can be. Superb.
Yeah. Professional, believable.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, high quality productions.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Production value, yeah.
Of course, you can go quite cheap. You can use your mobile phone and have two people in there, or one.
Or
person
yourself
in there.
as an actor.
Yeah, or yourself
Like a
as an
vlogging kind of thing.
So like a Vine or like a vlog.
But when you think about that, even if you use a phone, what's the cheapest phone? $400, $600?
Actually, 230.
With a good camera. Yeah, with a good camera, 200 plus.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna get the 200 plus from to buy the phone? So essentially, if we talk about the production again itself in general, the camera itself, you have your camera body, that's probably at least $1,000 plus, and you have your lens, that's another $1,000, $2,000, and then your enough memory cards, that's another $200, $300.
Yeah.
So that camera alone is where we need the money to go to. But yeah, that on all these other stuff, equipments, that's a cost that we can have more or less. You get what I mean? So we can just shoot with the camera and then do the audio some other time. That's possible as well. But I think the most essential one is still paying the people. It's I don't know. If you want to do something professionally done, we're not charging. Okay, let's say corporate video. We're not charging that amount because we feel that we are greedy. But if you look at our costs, how much of that? What's the percentage of that becomes our profit anyway? I do get that people don't see why you need much money, but at the same time, people need to see why we need that.
It's like a product as well, right? That you're putting
It is a
putting on
product.
the shelf.
It is a
you
product.
you measure your costs and your expenses, and that's how you come up with the price.
Exactly.
And it's exactly the same. It's just a different packaging.
Exactly. Because you're still consuming entertainment. It's the same thing as you're consuming food. So yeah, this is quite philosophical right now.
I guess it's because like entertainment is not a necessity
True.
in life as well. But anyway.
True. But yeah, sometimes we don't do it for entertainment, but still, people don't see the value in it.
Not like you compare that to a blockbuster movie, and then people will suddenly like, oh, that must have been really expensive to
Right.
make. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at short film or small scale, and like, I think that was free. That was just
Yeah.
using.
Just because it's called short film,
Yeah.
they assume that it's cheap and free.
Yeah, so I think most, if like you said, paying people is the most important, because it's the people who operate it.
Yeah.
And like how you would hold an event, it's the people, the organizers are the one who made that thing
Or
happen.
a restaurant.
Yeah,
You
or
can't just have a restaurant with
Yeah.
with no people running it.
Yeah, it's not like you go into a restaurant, hey, vending machine that serves steak. Ding.
Even the people who fill in the vending machine.
Right. Yeah.
Everything needs the people, because we can't just keep paying people with food. Like, how are they gonna come back to the? If we don't pay them, how are they gonna travel back to the location? You know what I mean? They can't just use food to go to
build
come to the set
a waffle boat.
and then drive it on the or an ice cream boat.
A sea of food.
Cloudy
With a chance of
meatball.
meatballs.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you see, since this is the first time that you're seeing it with a budget perspective, where do you see the money went to, and from this production, where did it go to?
To feed the people. That's where most of the money
Right.
went. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
to
probably
make
like
sure,
60-90%.
yeah, to make sure that these people have the energy to do what they need to do, are alive
Keep them
and
happy.
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 Keeping people happy is the most
Yeah.
important thing.
Otherwise, they're not gonna do the
There are
job.
breaks in
well.
between.
The breaks is important as well.
Yeah, I think it's the food. Yeah,
I
Food.
think it's always the food. Yeah.
and that boils down to just people in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where most of the money went, I think.
Yeah, like I said, the equipment we can give or take. Like, we want the best camera, but at the same time, we also want the best operators. So even if you put the best operator with a crappy camera, it'll still look good. Yeah, so you're paying the talent, the
talent.
experience.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about some memorable moments throughout the
Look out.
Yeah, let's talk about some of your memorable moments throughout the project. Can be good, could be bad. Any?
Okay, I've asked I've asked this question to a lot of people during the interviews. I don't want to end up giving a cliche answer, but cliche. But I think this project in itself is a memorable moment lah. It is a bloody cliche thing to say. Trying as hard not to swear here. But it's not ideal to lose people along the way. By that I mean, like, people who are doing, let's say, the clapperboard, couldn't make it for most of the time, or couldn't make it for most of the shoot as well. That is not ideal, and it sucks, but that's part of it. That's something that I learned as well, and that's something for other people to learn as well, so that when we actually make something like this again, or continuing this further on, we know what we need to do to avoid these things.
So memorable moment is the project.
The project itself, seeing it into fruition, actually. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Memorable moment? Walking in front of the camera?
My memorable moment was when my face was featured in the TV.
In one of the
Being-
scenes.
In one of the
No, you
scenes.
slapping.
Yeah, me slapping. No, I guess I always, even if I didn't take the role of the director, I guess my best, like one of my, the moments that I really liked was being involved with the actors where they were from just a table read to actually delivering these lines
And acting it
on
out.
screen and acting it out, and I get to look at them and I get to see like, oh, this is exactly how they should have delivered. This is exactly how the things are.
Essentially, you're in every step of the way
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like physically, like actively involved.
Yeah.
And what did you want to be in the beginning? Sorry. You just wanted to produce, right?
Yeah, the idea was just to produce, just to like, it's time to see a lot more talents that's gonna be in part of it.
Yeah.
It's time to see like how people work together if we were to do a collaboration, which we did already.
So coming back to your memorable moment, sorry.
Yeah, and but the part that I liked being involved in was because I've been involved in stage acting. I've been involved in acting, shooting, where I'm on the other side, the actors on the other side. That's what Filterworks have been up to for quite a while, and ensuring that they deliver the maximum.
The best performance.
Yeah, performance for that scene. It's like something that's quite good to see. Like whether it's a long take or even just a really short scene with just 2 words, if they give that either really subtle emotion that I expected for them to deliver and they delivered it, it was a very good feeling to have. I guess generally I would always like to see a good performance when looking towards a TV, but who doesn't?
Yeah.
But a lot of people wouldn't realize, like, oh, rupanya, like they wouldn't realize unless you point it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I try to do that before people find out about it.
Because sometimes people just focus on how the words are delivered,
Yeah.
but not everything else. Yeah, so I think that's a problem as well still. And yeah, your focus as a producer was also a second assistant director as well, where, like you said, Aznil's focus is more about how things are going, including the camera, what shot will mean what, where, and then he trusted you with molding the performance as well. So I think that was a good dynamic, I think. Yeah.
I do have a question because most of the actors.
We have 5 more minutes.
Okay. Most of the actors involved in this project are not professional actors. In fact, none of them are? Experienced.
Theater
yeah.
product.
Theater,
Okay.
yeah. I know that Safara, she was quite. She's been involved with Seeds, and then
Yeah.
recently she's in UBD with the PAC and also I don't
Sutra
know if
Memento
PAC,
as
yeah,
well.
Sutra Memento. So she's always had a basic in acting, and I would say she's quite good to deliver. Unexpectedly, like when you have theater, it's quite big on performances, and then you have to go in subtlety with the film.
Yeah.
But she delivered.
She able to.
Yeah, she was
to
able
adapt.
to adapt
Yeah.
to the film scene, and
Yeah.
that was quite good. Everyone else, I knew that Adi was first time. Nash was
Nas,
first time. Farah had
for
some
video.
Yeah, she had worked for RTB.
Oh.
Yeah, a few scenes here and there, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. But not at this scale, obviously.
Yeah. Was it difficult working with actors who didn't know basics of?
Believe it or not, they didn't take that long to mold. Like some, I think.
Because
I would
with
say,
them, lah.
yeah, I would say some of the main casts are actually quite naturals already in delivering the lines of subtlety of how things should be delivered, and even in the end product, which we get to see, like you saw that that is acting over there. That's not a stiff high school stage play. Like let's do this
Awkward.
together. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
awkward at all. You could see that there were skill, natural skill right now in their performance.
Okay. As a producer as well, what's your memorable moment? And what's your memorable moment first? And what did you do as producers?
Okay.
As a producer.
Memorable moment. If I had to pick like one moment, it
Yeah.
would be
Me. What?
Me, you living the scene,
Mm.
fleeing the set.
It would be the McDonald's shoot day. There was one moment where you guys were busy with stuff. I didn't have much to do then, so I was just sitting.
You were playing with a cat and a
No,
dead
I
mouse.
wasn't.
Anyway.
There was a dead mouse. Okay.
You can remember the smell, couldn't you?
So yeah, I was just sitting there, sort of seeing everyone doing their thing, seeing the equipment's there and all that, and I just thought to myself, like, wow, how cool is it that we're able to be a part of something like this, and to see this in Brunei, because personally I haven't seen anything like this in Brunei yet.
That's true.
So yeah, that was just a very like a rainbow moment.
It's more like
Okay.
yeah. It's
You know
like
what I
something
mean?
that you're just maybe this is how it feels, and then you're in it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
this is the real thing. I'm feeling it now.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
So like I think with the creative core as well, there are a lot of moments like that too. It's like, oh, this is what I've always thought about doing, and then you're in it, and you're like, it's different than what I expected, but like really good. Anyway,
That makes sense.
yeah.
So yeah, what did you do most of the time?
So most of the time I was helping with refreshments, so getting food for people, also setting up the like green room space and stuff.
That and then
Even the classroom.
let's talk about set designer,
Oh,
set designing
yeah.
and costume
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah.
Okay. For costume, the only heavy part was for the dinner scene. Everything else, they sort of brought their own stuff and were told what to bring. So for the dinner scene, we went to Rack and Brew. They're one of our supporters, and they were kind enough to open up their whole store for us to go through and see if we could find anything appropriate for the girls. Which we did, which was fun. So we tried on costumes. You know those scenes in movies where they're in the changing room and they come out and
then the
the
girls are like with
like-
champagne.
felt like that on that day.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Ah.
actually really fun.
Only if you documented it.
Yeah, I know.
They didn't take pictures, they didn't take
No
videos.
videos.
But I get it. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
When you're being creative and you're also producing it,
It doesn't really.
Yeah.
it's really hard.
So there should have been like one person that should.
Just
Right.
documenting.
Yeah.
But then again, that's me. I can't be there with the girls, you know what I mean?
We were there.
No,
No,
during
he
the.
wasn't there.
I wasn't there. That's
Yeah.
why.
You were,
We were
there.
there.
Yeah, you were there.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
interesting.
came in after. But
And,
yeah, so
set designing.
set design. We did the classroom and the room. Safara's
Safara's
bedroom, which was quite fun because it was in a familiar space. So we knew we could kind of do anything.
Just,
We wanted
just,
to
just see her name in the credits. You'll understand.
It was fun. We just basically brought whatever we had from our office
Yeah.
and just brought there our clock, lights, everything, post-it notes, pens, markers, whatever it had, just to make it look like a real room.
Hey, one more. The core.
The core? Oh, yeah. The room. Yeah.
The core as well.
Yeah, once again, we brought everything we had from the office.
Yeah.
So yeah, we arrived at the place about 2 hours before to just set everything up, but it was a little bit difficult as well because we didn't know exactly what the director wanted
Yep,
or
absolutely.
everyone else, so we were kind of just guessing. But it all worked out well. I think Asnil also is quite patient as
Flexible
well
as
and
well.
very flexible as well.
Yeah.
So that was
But probably because he couldn't think of lyrics as well.
Yeah. Maybe that's a little bit of that. Sometimes the directors are too focused on
Right.
how the scene would look like.
Yep.
He doesn't, look at
Doesn't mind.
what it's overall.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he'll just add things from what they see in the screen,
Mm,
and then there's add.
I guess it's also because with like people like us who've done videos for quite a while, there's a lot of compromise in set design.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
that's
it
the
could be
that's the one
whatever. It could be whatever scene, but you cheat where it looks
Right,
the
right.
best.
Yeah.
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 But I do love the sets though where it's designed.
Mm.
It added that extra production value to
Right.
it. Even though it wasn't intentional, the stuff that in there wasn't like, oh, there she has to have this, the classroom has to have this. It wasn't as intentional as we wanted it, but it's due to the budget restrictions as well, that we had to keep things at a minimal,
Yeah.
and finding out, our own resources that we have.
Yeah. Using what you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
It's quite good actually.
Yeah, because if you compare it with the local productions, that just if it's an empty room, that's the thing. Like at this point, even to me, if I wasn't part of this production, I'd probably be just compromising most of the scenes as well.
Mm.
But because there was a lot of help in at least bringing the stuff, not compromising, but the time given and spent as well, to the point that I was saying to myself like, all right, let's push this,
Yeah.
and things sometimes in the production as well, like bringing things here and there, sometimes I do feel lazy, I'm not gonna lie, but seeing as other people's commitment to it kind of pushed me
Yeah.
to do
Definitely.
to put in more effort as well.
Anything else on this? What's the time?
That's 50 minutes elapsed, so 10 more minutes.
Oh, okay.
Just to close up.
Yeah, just to close up. Before I start, any particular thing you would still want to bring up?
Right now, yes. Right now we're in post production.
Okay, yeah.
Let's talk about
We are part of the post production.
Yeah, we're also part of it. We've been there every step of the way. And now that we've finished shooting, over 8 days worth. 8 days, right?
Seven and a half.
7.5. Some days we have to schedule over. Some days we had to move. Yeah. Because we are trying to accommodate not just the actors' schedule, but also the directors or the crew. If there's no crew, then it's still gonna be a hard thing to try to achieve. Everyone has to be there on the set, and but we've managed to do all that. Some hiccups, but it wasn't something that was unachievable. And flash forward to where we are today, we're doing post production, where we're mostly trying to make the best out of the production and have it shown, have it screened to the people.
So what are we doing right now? Maybe you could answer that. What are we doing in post production right now? Things that we've discussed.
Okay. Okay, so aside from finishing up the episode, we are also planning for our press screening. That's in a few weeks' time. So with that, I'll just speak from my role because okay. With that, we're just making sure that we've got the graphics, the posters, and all of that done, which we still have yet to decide. The title of this episode.
We've just gotten
just last night.
Yeah, we just got it last night.
One thing that we have to do, ADR. What's ADR?
So ADR is where it's what's it called? I know it's dubbing, but what does it stand for?
I think it's automated dialogue replacement.
Okay, yeah. So that still needs to be done for some of the scenes because of the noise on the day of the shoot. And then other than that, the press screening. I think that's when we'll be inviting sponsors, partners, cast, crew, but not only that, we would also love to invite people who could potentially
Be our
invest. So that we can have the chance to produce the rest of the episodes for the series.
So
Professionally.
essentially what she's saying, it's a pitch. Right now,
Yeah.
whatever we're making, it's a
Oh, yeah, that is it. Yeah.
it's a pitch to entice people to fund, everyone who was in the production to finish up the whole season.
So it's So essentially, what you do in a series is you make a pilot for anything actually. So in anything creative. So you do like a either spec work or a sample, a demo work. So this in a series you call that for a film you call that a short, or a short film, for a potential feature film. But in a series it's the pilot episode. So
Mm.
usually if you watch series, there's an episode 0 sometimes. So that's the pilot episode. So then the first episode is either the same thing but made better, or a continuation of the pilot episode if it's good enough. So yeah, essentially that's what we're doing as well. And the reason behind it as well is, and we're putting it in the cinema because of several things. One, we need to get audience engagement so that we know how many people are watching it, and so that we can also two get feedbacks on whether we can improve on some stuff, what they would like to see in the future as well, and if they would want to watch it again. And the third reason is to see if we can prove it on a budget, from a budget standpoint, from a financial standpoint, if we can prove that we can make money out of this.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Have-
There's no better way to say it
Having it in the cinema would also mean exclusivity.
as well.
Because for what you're saying, if we have it like over on YouTube and Facebook, sure there'll be a lot of people who will view it,
Clicking it.
clicking it, but you don't know exactly
How long?
Yeah, because in Facebook or YouTube you'd have these minute watchers or
Seconds watches.
10-second watcher before they get uninterested. But you go to the cinema, you know that you'll be interested to see
Yeah.
the whole
And-
thing because you've already paid for it.
Yeah. Even if they didn't like it, they'd still watch it, and then they analyze it whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
And that way we have a more credible
Audience
data
data, yeah.
from it as well. Yeah.
All right, so just closing this little thing off.
This could be a 3-hour session.
Yeah.
It's even a 5-hour session.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
But bringing everything down. Biggest takeaway:
What food did you take away?
McDonald's.
Oh no.
Biggest takeaway. When you mentioned McDonald's, I guess my biggest takeaway was to have all these sponsorships come in on board with us. I'm not trying to boast or anything, but having Filterworks as a name was quite a plus.
It's a positive.
Yeah, it's quite a
thing.
where a lot of people don't mind working because of the work we have done before.
Yep.
And
The portfolio basically.
yeah,
in
and
general.
names pop up like Asnil, who have worked, who they've seen the products from, from a film standpoint, would be like, hey, he's making something, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be with Filterworks, it's also gonna be good. So they want, because we've also done adverts before for public product placements, and so to see their product in for a showcase for the people would also be quite good.
Yep.
Yeah, and quite a lot of these products are local products.
Yes.
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah, and it shows support for the local industry. So we're doing this, not just on one side, but for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's my biggest takeaway, to have contacted sponsors, for them to agree and be part of the production.
Thank you.
Biggest takeaway for me, never really thought about it, to be honest.
From
All this
asking
time.
so many people, you can steal from someone else.
Yeah.
Just crop
They won't
out their
know.
cut.
I'll cut theirs.
Yeah.
But no, let's start with you first. What's your
Okay.
biggest takeaway?
Realizing, I think, biggest takeaway, realizing that this is this isn't the end product. You know what I mean? Like this pilot episode is just the beginning to
The start
bigger,
of
bigger.
something new.
The start of something. Yeah, bigger things. Bigger things ahead. Like I don't know. In the past, I've always thought, okay, you complete the video,
That's it.
that's it. But then I've realized that this is only
Stepping stone.
yeah. It's like not even
Yeah.
It's not just a stepping stone for the series, but
Mhm.
something else as well.
For
exactly
all
yeah,
other
yeah.
Everything
things.
else, yeah.
Because we know the scale now.
Mm,
Now we just up
mm.
it to see how bigger of a production we want.
Yeah, I think it's just keep pushing, see how far we can go. Another thing also is that
Sounds like a future project.
another thing also is that realizing that things are better when we work together.
Aww.
No, because I've always been
When we
someone
work
like
I
as a
guess
dancer.
Co-founders.
As a dancer or creative or whatever, I've always been very, very stingy and very protective.
Very conservative.
Yeah, so I've never really liked opening up and working with people because I didn't want.
But that's a different art form as well.
Yeah, it is.
Mainly dance is like your own choreography. When you start adding people, they have to have their own choreography as well.
Yeah. So, and I think also generally projects as well. I've always been very, I will say stingy, I will admit it. I just like want my idea to be done and that's it. But then over the course of this, as well as the past 2 years I've realized that it's always much better to get more people involved because it makes the end result much better as well. And you learn something new as well. And you
And
make
that word is
collaboration. Collaborate. Yeah.
yeah. And that's it. Okay, so I just found my biggest takeaway. I've always been a theory guy. Going through a little bit of formal education with filmmaking as well enhances my theoretical approach to things as well, especially when it comes to filmmaking. But like I've always been YouTubing on how to produce something and on how you work on set and this and that, post-production, pre-production. Why do you have to face that? You're like that sloth.
I'm thinking of something else.
So seeing things. Okay, one thing is that we've never done things properly when it comes to videography. So that was one of my aim with this, and I would say 50% of that aim I managed to do it. So actually applying it in real life, in real situation, in real production, I think that's my biggest takeaway. And that is also on top of getting inspired by other people with their energy, with their compulsiveness, with this and that as well. So yeah, that's something for me to take away as well. Is this is at the end of the day, it's art. And it's to be consumed by an audience, so you wanna give it the best that you can.
Great.
And how willing people are to go beyond their boundaries.
Oh.
Yeah.
Left and right.
Yeah.
We're
okay.
just two fat people.
Okay, let's bring this to a close. Any last words? I feel like you have something
Famous
to say.
last words.
I would want to say thank you to the sponsors, but I don't have the list.
Yeah, I don't want to just go off the top of my head
Yeah.
because I'll forget someone. But thank you to the sponsors,
Thank you to our
supporters.
Essentially, this is the final
Oh, it is.
episode.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you to the
Okay, yeah.
sponsors, thank you to the people.
Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to our supporters, partners. Thank you to, of course, the cast and crew, most importantly, for joining us in this quest.
The collaborators.
Yeah, the collaborators, the artists as well. We definitely really appreciate you. Thank you for believing, I think, in this project.
Yeah, that's the main
First
thing.
and foremost.
Oh yeah. From this as well, I learned. This was when I was in the shower. I learned that, when investors say, "I'm not gonna put in money in things that I'm not gonna produce this if I don't believe it."
Right.
So that's where I'm like, I'm investing my time in this one because I believe it.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So yeah, that's something I learned as well for this one.
That's
Okay,
important.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for
It's
believing.
quite bittersweet.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for believing in this project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although we've lost some people along the way on the production.
Yeah. And
Not lost in a way.
And gained a few more.
Yeah, and gain a lot actually.
Yeah.
Gain more than we. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's
That
it.
is it.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone enjoys this. You've got to see from all the other interviews as well, their experiences, and how they would like this to be extended further
Yeah.
as well. To be expanded.
So if any of you out there watching this, wherever you are, if you would like to support us in this project in whatever means, we very much welcome you. To do so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The title was 4 months in the making.
As long as the
Alright.
production.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was fun.
It was fun.
That was a podcast 5 hours worth.